It's so nice to be here once again. Today's topic is affordable housing. No matter who you are, no matter the work that you do, you need a place to put your head on at the end of the day. So we have an expert in the house today who is going to throw light on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Okay, well, I would say right now is not as it's supposed to be. Basically, possibly because of the issue of having to go through an agent. The agent has to get his own from it. A whole lot of bureaucracy going through, having to purchase the land and the cost of equipment. The issue of inflation actually tells down on everything, both on building materials. So I don't think it's really affordable as it were right now.
I've stayed in Owerri, I've stayed in Enugu, and marriage brought me to Lagos. Housing here is quite expensive. I can get a 3-bedroom apartment as in Owerri for 200, 250. But here in Lagos, a good one, a sizable one, 450, 500, even 600. And for most people that are not bankers or high network individuals, you can't really get such houses. You just be getting something that's not okay for you.
Affordable housing. Please tell us, what is affordable housing?
Well, when we say something is affordable, that means the average person can pay for it. I mean, the common man, in quotes, using the parlance, can pay for it. Mm-hmm. That when we say affordable. Affordable now depends on the class. But I believe that what we're talking about is that the average citizen can afford and pay for it. When we say it's affordable, when we say something is 100 million, how many people can afford it? There are some people that can afford it. Say it's 20 million, there are some people that can afford it. But on the average, when we look at the minimum wage, the level of income of the average person, what can they pay for? Then we say it's affordable. So affordability depends on the level of the person we're talking about. But I believe in this sense we're talking about the generality of the population.
When you talk about affordable housing,
yes,
for the common man, what class of people are you looking at?
Okay, we're looking about the lowest rung of the ladder. We're talking about the average person. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the one that had made effort probably to go to school, graduate, and should be able to step into the housing ladder.
Okay.
We're talking about something that's essential to every person.
Yeah, so affordable housing
yes,
is not for everybody.
Definitely it's not for everybody.
All right.
We must be sincere with that. I mean, well, for when we say affordable, I'm talking about the cleaners on the streets. Can they really afford housing? Yeah. So let's be realistic and say that, okay, if you go to school, you get a job, I mean, you should be able to climb the housing ladder easily. So, well, we can say we are coming down to the level of affordability. That's what I think.
Oh, okay. So now in Nigeria, we have a minimum wage.
Yeah.
How much is that? 10,000 or 20,000?
Do I really know? I think it's 8,000 or something.
So
yes.
This category of people, can they afford? Are they included?
You see, that's I believe now that's the circle we want to look at, saying that if on the average you start earning salary, you should have hope of having a roof over your head. I mean, in Africa and down to Nigeria, it's a thing of pride for any family to have their own shelter, something they can call their own. I mean, the average Nigerian will deny themselves some privilege to have their own place, to point to say and say, this is my house. It's a thing of pride for us. So have we allowed people to achieve that dream? Can they actualize it? What is being done to make it realizable? So I think that's what we're talking about.
So you tell us, what are the schemes that are available?
For now, I can say categorically that when we talk about affordable housing, virtually there's none.
Really?
Yes. I mean, we should be sincere with ourselves. The government runs the economy, basically now. And if the government themselves are shying away from providing housing, I mean affordable housing, I mean then who else? Because they are the ones that have the muscles. And you know, in Nigeria, a government will build 200 houses, 500 houses, and they will call the cameras to come and celebrate. That house cannot go around those who work in the governor's office alone, if you want to give to each of them. So is that affordable? And then at the end, they want to sell and move away. And when they want to sell, the price at which they put it, if you accumulate people's salary for some 20, 30 years, you cannot afford it. So is it affordable? No.
But housing is the very basic need of people. No matter the work that you do when at night, or you need a place to put your head. How come nothing is done about it?
Like I said, it's a thing of pride for a Nigerian
to own it.
Either male or female, to say this is my house.
Not just a pride. Yes. It is, even if you don't have food to eat.
Yeah, I mean, it's essential.
Have a place
it's essential. After food, shelter is next.
Yeah.
But I mean, even in our culture, it's a thing of pride for you to say, this is my house. You know, a child wants to go to school and say, my father's house.
Which gives them some level of confidence.
I mean, you are out of your city, your town. You want to describe how to get to your village, to your town, to your hometown. You try to describe your father's house. It's a thing of pride for you to describe what belongs to you. I mean, one of the things that you really want to point to is the house.
Yeah.
So it is very essential, and unfortunately, we are not looking at it. I mean, the government is not taking as serious as they ought to. So that's why I said that I don't really think there's affordable housing outside there, because the ones that have been provided, majority of the people cannot afford it.
It's still for the
high and mighty. I mean, by the time you put a house, for example, in Lagos, 3-bedroom, and you are telling people to come and pay some 30 million, 40 million for it, how many people can afford that?
All these thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Welcome back. Mr. Jago, please tell us about the class of people that can afford the affordable housing, since we have ruled out the basic income earners.
Yeah, well, there's hope. There's hope. Things are changing gradually. The Nigerian economy was recently rebased, and one of the areas that was looked at is the real estate. People see that there is hope, and there is investors can bring money in, both local and foreign investors. So professionals are actually getting very innovative with ideas. And also the Lagos State government came out with a scheme, which I will maybe mention by the way. Lagos State government is having a homes system where they're giving housing out at, I think, 12%. It's going to be for first-time buyers. And then you cannot finish paying until the first 10 years to discourage those who want to speculate, so that you must not have a house before. But like I said initially, those houses, they're a little bit expensive. So the initial payment expected is on the high side. Maybe some of them 6 million, 9 million, but I mean, it's still reasonable than paying for everything. Now you are allowed to spread the balance over a minimum of 10 years, and I think you can take it to 15 or 20 years. And the interest rate is still good, 11, 12%. I mean, it's lesser than what you get in the commercial banks at maybe 20, 25. So ordinarily, it's still reasonable. So that's why I say there's still hope.
So what kind of houses are we looking at?
Well, what Lagos State government is doing is 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and the prices vary. I mean, the 1 bedroom, I think 8, 9 million, 2 bedrooms. And I mean, I don't have the figures on hand, but they vary. But what I'm saying is that at least they give a hope that if you can muzzle the initial capital to pay for, and over time you can start paying over 10 years. And I tell people that if you can get it, it's still encouraging. Why? Because by the time you see how much you are paying as your annual rent, you just put a little bit on it. It will amount to the mortgage you are paying to the government, aside the initial payment. So the initial investment you need is actually to try to see how you can put money together to pay the initial down payment. But subsequently, what you are paying monthly to the government or annually actually is just a little bit above your annual rent. I've looked at it.
Okay, who are the people qualified for this?
Well, the way the government is doing it, I think it's a raffle. I mean, every month, 200 people will win a raffle. I mean, you buy the form, you indicate the area where you live, where you want, and then they pick a raffle. I mean, it's monthly, and then they pick people around them.
Okay, but here you're just talking about Lagos State.
Yes.
Yeah, so looking at Nigeria as a whole.
Well, Lagos is still the hub of the economy, so it's still where people can easily make their money back because it's expensive actually to build. Okay. So, like I said, professionals too are coming out with innovations. What professionals do now is try to probably give you room to pay over 2 or 3 years. They network with banks and then maybe arrange a mortgage for you, but they are higher. Maybe the interest rate could be about 20–25%. And they tell you maybe at foundation you pay 20%. They have milestones. At each milestone there are some payments expected of you. But the average I've seen of them is that they don't stretch more than 24 to 36 months for you to pay. How many people can afford this? I mean, if we're talking about spreading 40 million, 70 million over 3 years, how many people can afford it? Those who are working in the oil industries can do that. Those who are working in bank, any good salary can do that.
Those ones can afford
yes,
any kind of house.
Not any. They can't muzzle the whole money at once. Okay. But it gives them breathing space.
Okay, but let's zero it down to, because when you talk about oil company, bankers, people that are high income earners,
yes,
they can at least afford housing. For the people that cannot, for a common man out there, maybe, let's say maybe the salary is 20,000 naira. Yeah. Can such a person be qualified for this scheme?
Well, I think for Lagos State government, I don't think they don't have a limit as long as you can pay the monthly installment.
But you are saying Lagos State, it has to be raffle draw. Is there
no
other scheme that
the government is the one that's supposed to run this system, but you see, their focus is elsewhere. I tell people that for me, I believe the government has no business building. Okay. There's a law now that says the governor is holding the land in trust for the people. Then make the land available. I mean, acquire the land, let people have access to it cheaply. These omoneless will go away. I mean, for example, if I know that if I get to my state government, I can buy land for $500,000 with C of O. Why will I go to one speculator and go and buy at 9 million? And I know that the government will stand by my side. That's one. Number two, apart from making land available, I believe government should focus more on infrastructure. Most of the houses we are building, the government build prototype houses. Let's assume they build 3-bedroom flats. If they build 3-bedroom flats, we know that our culture differs from where we are bringing these things. Mm-hmm. You may have 3 children. Your neighbor may have 1 child. Mm-hmm. So when we say 3 bedrooms, is it really what you want if you want to design for yourself? So you are chalked up into their design. But if they make the land available and provide infrastructure, you build what suits you. Some of our people have 3, 4 wives.
What is the private sector doing about this? Yeah,
the private sector definitely, they are capitalists. They are profit driven. Wow. So they have to go to the capital market to get funds. And availability of housing from them depends on how much profit they can make. So if they go to the banks and they are sourcing for funds at 25–30%, they can't give you for less. No. So that's the bottom line. My take is that, for example, the government have access to some funds. You give a civil servant 3–4 billion to look over, and the man is investing in stock exchange for pension. What business does he have with that? I mean, those are funds. When you take pension from people, we're talking about people who will need this fund, who will not need this fund in the next 15–20 years. Those are source of cheap fund. So throw such funds into housing. Ensure that it goes to real housing. That's what I'm saying now. Now you can give interest rate at single digit, 7%, 8%. You can even say it's those who are contributing to this fund that can access it for housing, that maybe after contributing for 5–10 years, I mean, you have worked for 5–10 years, you are sure that you can access your money because it's contributory. Now the government has done something with it, so it's a rolling scheme. I believe that such funds, if they are being used regularly, they will not be available and fallow for somebody to steal 2, 3, 4, 5 billion. Okay. So if you throw it to housing, it's tied down. The man that's building the house cannot run away with the house. You go to a stock exchange that can crash in the next minute. But if it's a house, I mean, the real estate is a hedge against inflation.
Hold with us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Well, I would say right now is not as it's supposed to be. Basically, possibly because of the issue of, having to go through an agent. The agent has to get his own from it. A whole lot of bureaucracy going through, having to purchase a land and the cost of equipment. The issue of inflation actually tells down on everything, both on building materials. So I don't think it's really affordable as it were right now.
Well, I think the government, I won't say they should mandate the landlords, but they should look into it and at least give maybe a fair rate, a flat rate. Okay, don't go above this, or let your range be within this. For a two-bedroom apartment, for a 3-bedroom apartment, okay, don't go beyond 350, just like that.
And because there are no no housing policy, you understand, they can always get away with this action. Somebody comes in, before you know, you ask him, you want to increase his rent. If he refuses, he's sent away. And secondly, they should set up some, appropriate rent tribunals for rent, so that these people should be adequately empowered by the government to look into these housing policies and to make sure they get a house and to deal with any landlord that raises his rent arbitrarily.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Edak Show, and we are trashing the topic of affordable housing with Mr. Jagun. Mr. Jagun, for an individual that wants to build, yes, what are the challenges? You mentioned something about Amonile.
Oh, that's a big headache, not only in Lagos but all over the nation, okay, particularly in the south. I mean,
particularly in the south.
In the south, yeah. I mean, in the north, they are not very pronounced because the land tenure system there,
it's different.
It's a little bit different. I mean, the people respect the emirs, the lords, okay, but here is in down south is family owned. Okay. So you see people now coming to claim ownership. Government, by the land use decree, has taken over ownership, but these people are still saying no, this thing belongs to us. Mm-hmm. So the government is sitting there in government. The government is sitting there in government house. Mm-hmm. You are on the road at their mercy. So and it's difficult to treat them. The schemes that are a little bit excluded are the ones that maybe the government has acquired, giving CFO, so you can run back to the government to help you. But you see, they have different antics. You see 5 people in the same family, 3 will sell to you, and then turn their back, then the two others will come and say they're not part of that 3.
Give me my own.
Give my own money, so you have to buy all over again.
Oh.
So if you are smart or you have been beaten once and you go back and also insist and maybe do your due diligence, maybe somebody has been beaten before, told you the trick, and then you go there, well, and you have escaped. Well, you have not really escaped totally.
Okay.
When you want to start building, well, they will ask you to pay when you want to do foundation. Oh, you want to do foundation for your house? They collect money. And they are the one that will decide how much you're going to pay. And when you start building and you get to maybe to the lintel level, so, oh, you now want to put lintel. Now you can't continue, you have to pay us some money. And then when you want to do your roof, oh, you want a roof? Oh, thank you, welcome. They will give you another charge. So, so for every stage of your construction, you are at their mercy. Wow. So as you are budgeting for your building material, you budget their own. At times, even to bring materials to site, they will charge your contractors for bringing materials to site.
But what you are saying is not peculiar to the families or the indigents. I noticed that even when you want to reconstruct your house or something, the people come from government, say Lagos State government, local government. You have to take permits. You have to do. You pay for all the stages that you are talking about.
Yeah, no. You don't pay for all the stages. When you have your building permit and your building has been approved, I mean everything has been approved, you don't pay anything again.
So still the money
the local government, yeah, the local government, when you want to do any renovation, they have their schedule. They have a list of things. If you want to do, you must come back to them to seek permission. So when you go to them and they take the permission, I mean, if anybody comes, you show them.
And you don't take permission with mouth, you take with cash.
Oh, well, there are official fees you need to pay. When you pay those official fees, you are free. For example, if anybody comes to your building site to disturb you, that's why you see most building sites, particularly those handled by professionals, they have a board there.
Okay.
They will write all those and write their permit number.
All right.
They write the building approval number. So you go there and check. Some of these guys, they are runners. They are street runners. They go back and check. If they see it's there, I mean, they'll find their way. If you don't contravene the approval given you. Sometimes some people have approval for a bungalow. They now start converting into a story building. I mean, definitely they'll come and disturb you. Okay. As long as you are going in accordance with what was approved for you, nobody can disturb you.
Mr. Jagu, as an estate surveyor, what are your contributions towards making housing affordable in Nigeria?
Well, the estate surveyor on Valua is a grounded person. Is an all-rounder professional. What we try to do, based on our experience, most times is to encourage our clients. Because of the mirage of problems, some people want to shy away from owning a house. You encourage them and tell them it's possible, and then you give them the practical tips and steps to own one. I've gone through that before. I mean, I used to have a tenant. Before you ask for rent, he has paid. When they have issues, there's a block of 8 flats, he has done. And I told him, do you have a plot somewhere? He said, never thought about it. That's difficult. I told him, it's simple. Get a plot of land, build gradually. Today, by the grace of God, he has about 2-3 houses. Okay. So we try to encourage people, take them through the steps, tell them the professionals they need to engage. I mean, to engage an architect to draw for you, a QS to give you to quantify for you, things like that. We tell them the processes you need to go through. And by the time you see, like I said, like we said during discussion, the average Nigerian wants to have a roof. So by the time you lay A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 on the table, they realize that, oh,
sorry for taking you back. Yeah. What are the ABCDs? What are the steps that one can take with a limited amount as salary or in your property?
The first thing is to get land.
Get land with
get
money.
A land.
I mean, land with money.
You get land with money, but see, sometimes people dream high immediately. I don't need to get land in the Koi. Can get land somewhere. I mean, Ajah today that people are selling for 5 million. That was a time, less than 10 years ago, that you can get land in the same place for 20,000 naira. Okay. But no matter how far it seems or look, get land there, buy it. Development will get there, and they start doing something gradual. You don't start from building 12-bedroom house. You can start from the bungalow that will end up being your boys' quarters. Move there. You're no longer paying rent. And then when you move there, then the money you're supposed to be used to pay rent, you start building the main house. I mean, you have your roof over your head.
Good.
So it's a long-term plan,
Yes,
which you start gradually. So a step of 1,000, I mean, you take the first one.
Thank you, Mr. Jagun, for coming.
It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate it. I'm sure you gain something, and you'll sure go and get that piece of land. Stay more for Medicine from Your Kitchen. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Medicine from Your Kitchen. You cannot give somebody what you do not have. This is what I have for you. Get natural honey, 3 spoons of natural honey. Get your ginger and your garlic, 3 cloves. This, you peel it. When you peel it, you have something like this. Mine is already peeled. You have 3 of this. You get ginger, this. You peel it. This is what you have. And I pounded my own garlic. This is what I have. I pounded this 3. This is my grater. I now grate it. You know, grate like this. This is what I have. This is my honey. I add my grated ginger. And now add my pounded garlic. You have to make it smooth. Make it very smooth. Very smooth. I add to it. I mixed it very, very well. Sometimes you get some honey that might be very thick. You may need to add more honey just to give you the consistency that you need. What you can use this for most commonly is cough. And I'm talking about onset cough. I'm not talking about something like TB or pneumonia. If it's just an onset cough, you know, most of these things are better treated or handled when is it fresh or when they are new, just started. It's not when something has entered into your body for a long time, you come and start using this one. No. This is one of the best home remedies for cough. Apart from that, most of the older men or women that I know of always swear by this to be the secret of their longevity. You prepare this and bottle it and keep. The longer it stays, the better. It can stay up to 2 years or more. It won't spoil. All you have to do is to take a spoon in the morning. It helps kind of helps to build your immune. This mixture is very harsh. Do not use it immediately. Keep it for 2 or 3 days before you use. Just a spoon first thing in the morning. If you are treating cough, 3 times a day. But if it's to boost your immune, you know, something that you use for a long time, it has become your lifestyle. Once a day, it's good. That's my tip for you today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.